You're very welcome back to a reconvened planning committee, or January's planning committee meeting. I'm going to hand over to Maura and ask Maura to take us through the roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Members, you're hereby summoned to attend the reconvened meeting of the Planning Committee held remotely on Thursday, the 7th of January. Councillor Barr. Councillor Barr. No. Councillor John Boyle. No. Alderman Alan Breslin.
Maura. Here.
Here. Thank you, Alan. Councillor Angela Dobbins.
Maura.
Thanks, Angela. Councillor Paul Gallagher. Yeah, thank you, Paul. Councillor Sean Harkin.
Here.
Thank you, Sean. Councillor Christopher Jackson. Councillor Dan Kelly.
John Maura.
Thank you, Dan. Alderman Keith Kerrigan. Not hearing Keith. I'll hold off. Alderman Hilary McClintock.
Here, Maura.
Thank you, Hilary. Councillor Kieran Maguire. Not yet. No Kieran. Councillor Philip McKinney.
Here, Maura.
No. Oh, thanks, Philip. Councillor Aileen Mellon.
She said she's running a wee bit late. She'll join the meeting shortly.
Okay, and Councillor Sean Mooney.
Maura.
Thank you, Sean. I'll just go back, Chair, just to double check at the beginning there. I'll call out again for Councillor Jason Barr. No. Councillor John Boyle. No. Alderman Keith Kerrigan.
Maura.
Thanks, Keith. And once again, Councillor Maguire. No. And Councillor Aileen Mellon's on her way. That's great. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Maura. Members, next I'm going to read out the statement for remote meetings. So I'd like to remind everyone who's in attendance that this meeting will be broadcast live via the Council YouTube channel and will be available for the viewing by the public and the media. The broadcast will also be available for repeated viewing at a later date. The broadcast may be terminated or suspended in accordance with Council protocol. Members and approved speakers are reminded to only have their mics and cameras on while speaking at the meeting and to use the chat facility to highlight a request to speak. By participating in the meeting, you're consenting to be informed and to the use and the storage of the images for broadcasting or training purposes and for the purpose of keeping historical records and making those records available to the public. A copy of Council's privacy notice may be found on the Council website. Members, I'm going to ask again, is there any declarations of members' interests? No. If there's any interest arise during the meeting, can you let us know? And I'm going to go straight into our applications and pick up where we left yesterday, which is item number 4 in our packs. Application number 4 in our packs is LA11 2020 0407, and it's Malachy that's taking us through that, taking item 4 and 5 together.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, you good to go?
Yes, can you hear me yet?
Yeah, we're getting, no, it's grand, the screens. No, thank you, go ahead, Malachy.
Thank you. Yes, item 4 and 5 are presented together here, LA11 2020 0407 and LA11 2020 0434 LBC. And the application is for a change of use to an office and refurbishment works to building 10A Everton Square, and the recommendation is to approve. The site is located, as I say, 10A in Edmonton Square. It's on the southern side of the square, for those familiar with the site. If you're looking at the tower building on the right-hand side of the square, just where my cursor is here, and the overhead picture on this side here now, the southern side of the square. This image shows the proposed plans. As I say, it's a conversion to offices. So it's really a number of consultation office rooms and associated facilities such as toilets, etc. And the main external work is the provision of a disabled ramp, currently there are steps on the northern elevation of Building 10A. The photograph on the left-hand side here, as you look at the image, is the entrance where the proposed step ramp will be placed in place of the current steps. The other images give you an idea of the sort of historic value and the interest and internal aspects of the building. For those not familiar, this is the former jailhouse within the Edmonton complex. So it's quite an interesting building and the overall context of the site, and for that reason it's listed also. So in terms of a policy context, we have the Derry area plan, the ASPPS, and of particular interest in this application will be PPS 6 in terms of extensions or alterations to a listed building and any development affecting the setting of a listed building. And also because we're within Edmonton, we would take into account any impact on archaeology because there's a scheduled monument on the site. We have a number of consultees. DFA Roads had no objections and principles. They alluded to the overall master plan for the site in terms of car parking and asked for officers to take that into consideration and to liaise with the executive's office. So we're satisfied that there's no parking issues. There will be 6 spaces provided by the executive office and an existing temporary car parking already provided within Edmonton. It's adequate to meet the provisions of the office use. Environmental health have no issues. They considered the contamination report, which is already provided for the wider development of Edmonton, and no issues with the proposed use in this respect. And with no objections from any water and historic environment division have no objection proposal, subject to conditions. We've had meetings and numerous discussions of the application, and there's been a few amendments to meet some of the technical details. But that has all been agreed now, and the most up-to-date plans are to the satisfaction of HED. We received one representation, and that was received in relation to the full application. The concern related to the use of the building, the former jail within the site, and they believe that another alternative use could be considered, and the application should be referred to Historic Buildings Council for advice. We shared this objection letter with HED. They responded by saying they support the reuse of the listed building. They welcome the revised scheme, and they believe there's minimal intervention, and they have no issues in terms of policy. And so we're satisfied that the objection wouldn't have any impact in terms of the consideration in this application. So in summary, for both applications, the main issues are the proposed change of use. Within Edmonton, it's an office use. This is compatible with the overall vision for Edmonton. And then I suppose the other issues, the listed building and the impacts of any of the proposed alterations. We believe that they're minimal, just to bring the building up to a certain standard. They meet the office requirements. There's no impact on the longer or the integrity of the listed building itself, and there's no impact on the scheduled monument. All design issues have been considered and resolved and agreed with Historic Environment Division, who are the statutory consultee for respective listed buildings. And we believe that if approved, that this will provide office space ready for 16 people. And it will be a good use of a reusable as the building, a sustainable form of development, and a positive story for Edmonton. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Maggie. Members, is there any questions for Maggie? I note that Councillor Mooney has indicated that he wishes to make a proposal, but is there any comments before that?
Clean up the second, Chair.
Councillor Dobbins? Councillor Dobbins?
Chair, sorry, I couldn't get the mute to go off. Chair, I know what I'm about to say is not within plan and remit, but I would like to highlight something with regard to the Ebrington site, and it is the on-site maintenance. It's become more than a joke. It has to become a health issue at the minute, and I would like this. I think the executive office should be made aware of all the rubbish that is around that site. So, and I do know, but I think I need to make the point here, and I would like maybe that maybe yourself and our planning officers or something, should contact the executive office and highlight this, because it's not a very nice place to be now with the amount of rubbish, and it is creating vermin because it is so close to the river and what have you. So it's just an opportunity, Chair, and I do apologise. I don't apologise for making it, but I would like, maybe through yourself and through the officers there, that the executive office would be contacted with regard to this. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Angela. And just given that it isn't a planning matter, so it isn't, maybe it isn't something that is relevant to this application, but it is an issue that I've been aware of. It's an issue that I've been contacted by a local business on, and it's an issue that we have made representations to the executive office. It's my understanding that bins are emptied 3 times a week in within Edmonton Square, and given the increase in people coming out and using the foil embankment as they walk and they use their daily exercise, there's an increase in rubbish, and those 3, the maintenance is no longer adequate, and it's something that I've no problem contacting the executive office once again and on in relation to it. Alderman McClintock, is yours on a planning matter?
Sorry, I was on mute there. Yes, it's a comment really, Christopher, and it's on a planning issue. I suppose whenever these applications come before us for Ebrington, sorry, I've just lost the screen. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me, Christopher?
Yeah, I can hear.
All right. When these applications come before us for Ebrington, there's always a sense of disappointment with me, because I think we're not meeting the aspirations of so many people in the city, because the master plan that was originally developed, and I know it was pretty open, but yet we're losing a lot of the historic value. When we saw those pictures of inside that jailhouse, we are losing something by giving this over to office space. Nonetheless, though, I know we have to look at the planning applications as they come before us. But the aspiration of so many people would have been that Ebrington would have been an opportunity to create such a tourist historical interest quarter for the city, and I think that hasn't been realised. Nevertheless, we are where we are, and we have to deal with the applications as they come before us. But I suppose just once again, I'm raising that concern. I would be reluctantly lending my support to the application, because it's at the moment, I think we're desperate to get footfall and to get the buildings occupied. But in normal times, I think it wouldn't have been my preferred option to hand over a historic building for office use. But thanks for that, Chair.
Alderman McClintock. Councillor McKinney.
Thank you, Chair.
This is really for Malachy, and it's something really on the lines of what Hilary was talking about there. Malachy, we've seen photographs of the interior, the old cells and stuff. Is this all being completely ripped out to accommodate these offices, or are they actually keep none of the original interior? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, well, I mean, the interiors won't be totally ripped out. It has a listed building. The alterations have been considered acceptable by Historic and Environment Division. Normally, if they do accept alterations, they're either reversible, like no. So for example, I think in this case there's some modern aspects you'd expect to have in an office, like in terms of light fittings and stuff like that. Like no, that and there's some interventions they make the rooms a bit bigger, stuff like that. But they're fairly minor alterations. But by and large, the integrity of the building will remain, and in our view, would be reversible. I mean, if another use came along at a certain later date, and it was applied for, like, no, that I think the existing historic fabric of the building would be protected adequately through consideration of this application. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie. I'm going to, just before, is there any other comments before I bring Councillor Mooney in? No. Councillor Mooney, do you want to come on?
Yes, Chair, thank you. Just as I said in the chat box here, I'm happy to propose both applications. I do take on board comments and Councillor McKinney's comment and Malachy's. I'm glad to hear that confirmed that the historic fabric can be reversed if there is any change of use application that may come down the line. So the whole aspect of the history of the building can be live anyway. So based on that, I'm happy to propose and happy to recommend the actual recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Councillor Mooney. I know Councillor Maguire had indicated that you would second that application or that proposal.
Yeah, happy to second it, Chair.
Yeah. Just before, Councillor Mellon, can I ask you to put your mic in mute? Sorry. Just before I go to a vote, I know I appreciate the comments that have been made by Alderman McClintock. But in my view, I think it's encouraging that, and it's I'm delighted to see applications coming. They make actual use of Everton Square itself. We all agree that it's key to the development, not only to the water side, but the wider city centre offering. And I know I've visited some of the businesses that are occupying the Everton Square, and I know one particular reference to an office building in the Cunningham building, which is being occupied by a local building contractor. And walking through that building, it's fantastic to see how the historic fabric of the building has been maintained. It's been enhanced in many cases, and as Malachy alluded to, it would be easily reversed if it was to take on another use. So I don't think anything's lost by the development and these buildings being used in a positive sense. So I think the development of Everton Square, but we've seen how it can be done right, and hopefully in this case will be very similar to what we've already seen in buildings in Everton Square. So we've got a proposal from Councillor Mooney, seconded by Councillor Maguire. Is there anybody in opposition to the proposal? I note that Councillor Boyle and Councillor Mellon have registered abstentions because they weren't here for the entirety of the application. Is there anybody eligible to vote who wishes to vote against the proposal? No. So can we note those two abstentions and everybody else is in favour, so that application has been approved. Can we move on now to item 8, which is LA11? Apologies.
Sorry, Chair, I was just going to say I'll share that presentation now here.
Yeah, go on ahead, Laura. It's item 8 in your packs, members. It's LA11 2019 0619. It's another list of building consent, or another list of building consent. And it's Laura that's going to take us through it.
Sorry. Good afternoon, members. So this application, LA11 2019-0619 LBC, is an application for the installation of gas central heating to 6 flats and 1 office at 2 Castle Street in Derry. The recommendation is to approve and has been referred to committee by the head of planning. So as you can see from the site location plan, the application site is a corner plot at the junction of Castle and Shipkey Street. This is a grade B2 listed building. It's finished in sandstone with a pitched and hipped slate roof, sliding sash windows and timber doors. The site's located within the commercial core and the historic city conservation area. So this slide just details the relevant planning policy under which the proposal was considered. It includes the RDS, the Derry Area Plan, the SPPS, PPS 6, PPS 2, PPS 3, PPS 15, and the Historic City Conservation Area Design Guide. So in terms of alterations to listed buildings, policy BE2 of the Derry Area Plan, policy BH8 of PPS 6 is concerned with preservation of the listed building. So you can see from this drawing that the piping will be internal, apart from the gas riser where it connects to the existing office building just externally at ground floor level. HED have no objections to any of these internal works. So HED, however, remain concerned about the visual impact of the flues and the associated plume and the facade of the Castle Street elevation. So as you can see from the drawing, the flues are proposed on the facade and they're located centrally between the upper floor windows and then the others beside the existing wall-mounted street light. There's also 2 flues proposed on the roof in this elevation, and HED have no objection to these, provided that these are black and finish. The gas riser, which is down there at the right hand side, can be painted to finish the same finish as the building, and HED have no objections to this. So given the nature of the proposal, there's no opportunity to use any traditional materials. And officers are of the opinion that have considered amendments, the amendments provided by the applicant alongside the scale and location of the flues on both the facade and the roof, alongside the external gas riser, that the essential character and the special features of the listed building are retained and remain unimpaired. So therefore we consider that the proposal complies with parts A to C of policy BH8 as well as policy BE2 of the Derry Area Plan. So in terms of the setting of the listed building, policy BH11 of PPS 6 provides a context. So again, given the scale and location and finish of the flues, they won't be visible when travelling along Castle Street, which is a pedestrian street, and they'll only be visible over a short distance when travelling down Shipkey Street towards the Guildhall when passing Castle Street. With respect to those in the facade, again, given their small scale, the finishes and the location of them, between the upper floor windows and beside the street light, there will be limited views of them when travelling along Castle Street, and again only over a short distance when travelling down Shipkey Street. So therefore we consider that the scale, height, massing and alignment of the additions are sympathetic and will not adversely affect the setting of this listed building or any of the surrounding listed buildings, and therefore the proposal complies with policy BH11. So this site is also located in the historic city conservation area. So the guidance document, along with policies BE4 of the Derry Area Plan and BH12, provide the policy context. And the general presumption is to preserve and enhance the character of the conservation area. So though this building is located at a prominent site within the conservation area, again, as a result of the scale of the proposal, it's considered that it won't adversely affect any important views within and to or out of it. As detailed previously, the scale, height, massing and design and alignment of the flues piping will not adversely affect the character of the historic city conservation area and therefore complies with the policy and the conservation area guidance. We also consider this proposal in terms of amenity. So other than during construction, there won't be any adverse impacts on amenity. And this proposal will improve the quality of the accommodation and therefore the amenity of the residents of the apartments in particular. It will permit the removal of the economy 7 heating and replacement with gas, which is more cost effective. Therefore, the proposal complies with the SPPS. There are no issues with regards to access and parking, and therefore the proposal complies with PPS 3. So in terms of natural heritage and flood risk, the site is located within the city centre. Therefore, there's no requirement for consultation with the SAS. There's no water course abutted the site. There's no areas of flood risk identified. There's no significant trees or hedgerows or landscape features affected by the proposal. So overall, it's concluded that the proposal complies with the Derry Area Plan, PPS 2 and PPS 15. So just to summarise, whilst we note that this recommendation is contrary to the advice of HED, in this circumstance, it's considered that the proposed gas installation will not adversely affect the character and spatial features of the listed building, the adjoining listed buildings or the conservation area, and it will, as a result, ensure its future occupation and therefore its retention. The installation of the gas to this building will improve the amenity and the quality of life enjoyed by both the dwelling units and the commercial premises on the ground floor. Approval is therefore recommended for the subject to the conditions set out in the planning report.
Thank you, Laura. Members, any questions for Laura? I note that Councillor Dobbins has indicated she wishes to make a proposal, but before we bring her in, can I bring someone in for a comment? Councillor Boyle.
Thanks, Chair. I'll save time and everybody waiting for me trying to turn on the video because it's a bit slow sometimes. Just to say, Chair, I agree with the proposal from Councillor Dobbins. Had the original proposal been before us, I wouldn't have agreed with it because I think we've all seen examples of this external pipe work running up the outside of buildings of a particular age, and it's not something I think lends itself to listed buildings or actually, to be truthful, most buildings. But that's not the case. I think the flues and the I don't even know what they're called, the holes that let the gas out, or the air out. I mean, they're fairly unobtrusive in my view. So again, I'm content to second the proposal.
Councillor Boyle, any further comments, members, or questions? No. Well,
Chair.
Who's that? Sorry.
It's Maura. Sorry, just to wonder if I could just come on before.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chair. It's just to let members know that before any vote would take place, just that in this instance, as if members were to go with officer's recommendation and approve this, which would be contrary to the statutory consultee, as this is a listed building, and in this instance, it's in terms of the legislation under Section 89 of the Planning Act, we are obliged to notify DFI. So it's just to let you know that beforehand. But obviously, we've been here before. Thank you.
No, that's two people have guessed the proposal before. As I know, Councillor Boyle alluded to the proposal from Councillor Dobbins, and they had a plan on that, but I have yet to hear it. So, Angela, want to let us know what your proposal is?
The proposal is to accept the officer's recommendation for approval.
Okay,
I definitely do think, Chair, that this is an improvement on this building, and it can only stand for future proofing that building because gas would be more effective than electricity. But I do understand where Maura is coming from. But in hindsight, no, I would like to just propose that the officer's recommendation for approval. Thank you.
okay, thanks, Angela. Is there anybody wishing to second it?
That's what I was expecting coming, Chair. So yes, my guess was a good guess. So again, still content to second the proposal.
Okay, thanks, John. Councillor Boyle. And I know this committee have expressed their frustration at some of the advice coming from HED in the past. But I think this is a first where we've got the officers agreeing with this. So we've got a proposal, and if there's no further comments, I'm going to put it to a vote. So there's a proposal from Councillor Dobbins to accept the officer's recommendation to approve, seconded by Councillor Boyd. Is there anyone in disagreement with that? No. So that's unanimous, members, and as Maura has advised, that because it's contrary to we voted contrary to the advice from the Statutory Council, DFI will need to be notified. Members, I'm going to have to apologise in respect to the previous application. Item 4 in our packs, LA11 2020 0407. It's a change of use from the guardhouse and the jail to the offices in Edmonton. There was a proposal from Councillor Mooney, seconded by Councillor Maguire, which was voted on, and it was with unanimous support with 2 abstentions. I didn't take a vote for the list of building consent. So in respect to item 5, LA11 2020 0434, I know Councillor Mooney had indicated that he was proposing that we accept the officer's recommendation to approve on that. Councillor Maguire, do you still wish to second that proposal? Councillor Maguire?
Sorry, just flicking through to, yeah.
Yeah. Members, are we content? Is members content? Is there any dissenting voices? No. So can we record that vote the same with the 2 abstentions? My apologies for missing that separate vote. Members, moving on now to open for information and items 8 to 15, which was deferred from our meeting on the 2nd of December. Members, those items are open for information. Members were advised at the December's planning committee meeting that if there was any questions or queries they had in respect of any of them, to email officers. I've been advised that officers haven't had any queries in relation to them. I'm going to take them all as read unless anybody indicates now. No. There are no comments in relation to items 8 to 15. No. Moving on now to open for information for item number 60. Who's that? Councillor Kelly?
Taking item 7 as well.
Yeah. Councillor Kelly?
It's just on the annual report on the stats, the reporting mechanism for the statistics.
Okay, my apologies, Councillor Kelly, because I'm working off another agenda, so that was the item I made in mind. So
it was item 8 yesterday.
yeah, so No, item 8. No, go on ahead, Dan.
Thanks, Chair. I think it's worth recording for the record that Derry City and Strabane District Council was the only council in the north to record an increase in the number of decisions issued across Q2. But I just maybe have a question for officers in terms of the fact we still have a significant number of applications which are in the system for a long time. And I wonder is there any comment maybe from either Maura or Eamon in terms of the strategy for dealing with that? And I note that the direction of travel is the right one. The numbers of applications, I suppose, a year or more in the system are coming down all the time. And have we got the staffing, the resources now right to deal with that? Are we getting the responses back in timely fashion from consultees, all of that? So just maybe a comment from officers on that aspect of it, but very much welcome the fact that the council has been identified within that report as being the only one which is storming ahead through that quarter.
Councillor Kelly, Maura or Eamon, is there anyone who wants to pick up on that?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Thank you, Councillor. Yeah, Councillor, as you pointed out, we are working through these. At present, we have identified 4 applications which are legacy applications still in our system, and our intention is that these should come to committee before the end of the current year. And we have got a strategy in place for accelerating the remaining applications that are in the system beyond 12 months. As you've quite rightly pointed out, there are a variety of reasons that these applications are in the system. Some of the reasons to do with responses from either applicants, agents, statutory consultees, or whomever. So we are working to improve that and to accelerate these applications coming into the committee at the earliest opportunity. Thank you, Councillor. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Eamon. You content, Councillor Kelly?
Sorry, could I come in there, Chair?
Yeah, Maura, go ahead.
No, it's just to confirm with Councillor Kelly that our big problem is probably the 24 months plus in comparison to others, and we do have a high volume of fairly complex, as I call, intermediate application as well, which is slightly below a major application, which aren't highlighted in comparison to other councils, because of the nature of the urban setting we have, as well as complex rural applications, which others may not have. But we do have, at the moment, a strategy in place which also involves discussing matters and prioritising things in cases with consultees. And I have, in fact, a meeting set up this week with Derry specifically to deal with this particular problem. But also, I think that there is a wider acceptance in DFI planning. We've been doing a lot of work as heads of planning to try and review some of the systems and influence legislation and other changes that might help in the delay with some of these sort of more major and more difficult applications. And that's involved various forums and consultee groups that I've been involved in as well. So it's just to let you know we're trying to tackle this locally, but we're looking at it strategically as well. And we're hoping to see some impact on that in the coming months, and the next 6 months particularly, and in and around the majors as well. But I do think if you note in the report as well, compared to maybe other councils, we do have a high volume of those majors as well that are still being submitted into this council, as well as ones whenever obviously we're trying to issue them. So that's just all the comments I want to make, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Maura. Thanks, Eamon. Councillor Kelly, you content?
Just want to pick up on one thing. I wonder, would officers clarify if applications that come to Derry City and Strabane District Council and are subsequently called in by the department, and are in the department's file effectively then for a very long period, are they counted towards our statistics, or are they excluded from that?
Chair, obviously at this point, this has never actually happened to us. We haven't had any application formally called in, but I would have to check that up and come back to you. But I have a feeling that it doesn't switch. But and I recall others raising concerns about that. But I will find it out and come back to you, Councillor Kelly.
I'm just, for example, the electric line for the Dalry and Gold that came in November of last year was called in by the department last December. We're still waiting on them to publish even notification on that. So there's that application sitting for over 12 months now. I'm just wondering, is that counting towards our stats, or do they take that out and hold that separately?
I don't know for sure, but I think it might still count in our stats, but I will check that out for you and come back to you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Mark, for that. Councillor Maguire, is it the same issue?
Councillor Boyle before me, is he?
Councillor Boyle, are you in the same issue?
I haven't indicated I wanted to speak.
Yeah, I didn't get you either.
Sorry, go ahead, Councillor Maguire. Thanks, Chair.
Sorry. Yeah, Chair, it's just them applications we talk about there, the intermediate and the majors. I was just wondering, obviously they would be sore in resources, and is that taking resources away from kind of rural applications? Because there's quite a lot we've seen going through, in the weekly lists, but they haven't come out the other side in any shape. They haven't come out in the delegated approvals, or so they're obviously just sitting there. And I was just wondering, has there been resources removed from the rural applications to go into these ones? Because when we're sitting in this past couple of planning committee meetings, we have been dealing with a lot of big urban applications and very little rural, so just wondering, has that resource been added into?
No, Councillor Maguire, we still have the same team set up. In fact, we've probably we've had a strategic team for a while, and with the same numbers in both sections of the local team. The actual number of applications that we've issued, as Councillor Kelly alluded to, even during the pandemic, has been considerably high in comparison to some other councils. So, and we have been actually, as you have seen from the report, still being able to manage to meet our targets. So there has been still quite a large volume of what we would call the local applications, which would include the houses in the countryside. So unless it was a refusal, it wouldn't be coming into committee. So at that point, that's really, all I can say in terms of the volume. So I don't know, maybe if there's anything specific, you could maybe take it up. If there's a particular application or a few that you think are being delayed, I'm happy to sort of look into it for you to see, but not to my knowledge, and certainly the resources haven't been changed.
It's just ones that I've seen going through, the delegated, that I would know, like up roads where I'm familiar with, and just kind of keeping my eye, and none of them has ever come through, and I was, they're in the system a long time, maybe 6 months, maybe more, some of them. Obviously some of them not as long. That's what I was just wondering, but if not, I'm sure there's complex issues with rural applications as well.
Okay, Councillor Maguire, can I ask if you've got particular applications in mind? Can you get in touch with Maura or Eamon, and we can see if there's any, if there's any rationale with or if there's any or any reason for the delay?
Okay, Chair.
Members, is there any further questions in relation to or comments in respect to items 7 to 14, which have been deferred from last month's? No, I'm going to move on now to item 15, planning appeals. Is there any comments or questions, or are we taking as read? Okay, item 16, the NIE applications. Is there any questions or comments, members? We can take the report as read. It's there for information. Okay, I'm moving on to item 17, the list of decisions issued. Is there any comments, members? No. Can I have a proposer and a seconder to go into confidential?
I propose that, Chair, John Boyle.
Thank you, John. Thanks, Alderman Breslin. Can somebody from IT let me know whenever we're okay to go into confidential?